Alexius, have you ever had a local beer so good it made you curious?
And change your perspective?
Yes.
You're talking about that Dovetail Vienna style lager we had.
My guy, you really are a beverage psychic.
Just don't ask me for dating advice.
This is Taste 20 and 20.
At Dovetail Brewery. Hey! Oh, thank you, Simon. Chicago, are you ready to taste the city? I'm Turf Alexius.
And I'm Romeo. We're on a mission to devour the Windy City one bite at a time.
Get ready for a flavor-packed adventure as we discover 20 incredible food experiences in just 20 weeks.
From hidden gems to legendary spots, we're uncovering the heart and soul of Chicago's dining scene.
Get ready to meet passionate chefs.
Taste unforgettable dishes.
And discover why Chicago is a foodie's paradise. This is Taste 20 and 20.
Oh, good. Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Welcome to Dovetail.
How you doing? Thank you.
I heard you might need a Vienna Lager or two.
Always. The two-part like most, right?
Well, we're going to learn all about continental European style beers and traditional brewing methods.
I love that. He's gonna take us here.
I'm excited. Another field trip.
All right, let's go. Come on. So right now we're pulling a decoction from the mash tun over to our kettle where we're going to boil it. And there we go. That's our mash coming over, and we're gonna boil this with direct fire to get some nice caramelization and maltiness in the final beer. You can see the mash coming in. You also see the rakes. So this is the inside of the kettle now. Andreas is about to turn on the heat on the kettle. There's a huge gas flame being blown into a firebox underneath there, and that's how we achieve that boil. And just like caramelizing onions, you give the onions a nice stir in the pan. Yeah. That's what that chain is doing. It's keeping us from scorching the mash. Yeah. So we're just getting a little bit of caramelization.
I can smell that.
Good,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. We're returning the decoction back to the mash tun, and that's pretty much it. It's another 5 minutes of that. Every time we do one of those, you kind of go a step up in the maltiness of your beer. So what we do in this room is we practice something called open fermentation. This is the first place that the wort, the sweet liquid that we make in the brew house, turns into beer. If you look, there's no top on any of them.
They're literally open fermenters.
They're open fermenters, yes. And this is something you don't find much in the United States. It's an old method of fermentation. Yeah. And the reason we do it is we have a philosophy about yeast, that yeast are like people. They like sugar, they like to reproduce, and they don't like stress.
Sound like the good old days, right?
Exactly. You can see it bubbling.
Yeah.
So the yeast, which is just a single cell organism, the yeast is taking in the sugars from the sweet wort, and it's creating alcohol and CO2. If you were to have a cover over this and just a little vent kind of letting the CO2 out, that creates pressure, and that presses down on the yeast, puts it under stress, because it's just trying to push out that alcohol and that CO2, and it can't do it as well. So from here we've got two other beers that are, this one is ready to go upstairs. You see how the foam has collapsed? Now the yeast can't protect itself anymore. And now it's time to move it upstairs. The yeast still has work to do, but it's gonna work a lot slower, and now it's gonna work better in a sealed tank.
Oh, there we go.
So we got beer coming from downstairs, going right here, and going back to one of our tanks in back.
And how long does it stay in maturation in the tanks?
It depends on the beer. This is a dark lager, so this is going to be about 4 more weeks. This is what we saw coming up from downstairs, and this is the same beer that Matt skimmed. Is now coming into this tank.
What's the tracking process like to just keep track of all these beers and labeling like this?
It's a big old spreadsheet.
Oh,
outside.
Can this whole process be computerized where you can kind of see what's happening, or not really? Someplace.
It could be, and that's how big beer is done. But I don't think big beer does it well is when you have when you have your hands on the process, and you're watching it. So this is craft beer. This is, you know, there's a lot of love and care going into making this beer.
I like it.
We package straight up off these tanks. So really what's happening here is, let's say the beer fills up the tank to about this high. The fermentation, all the sugars get turned into alcohol. The yeast starts to settle down into the bottom of this tank. We don't filter any of our beers. We feel that filtration robs the final beer of flavor.
The detail flavor. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
The depth of flavor. So what we do is we let the yeast settle. We package off the top of the yeast. One of the benefits of the way we do things is we've left most of the yeast back in the other cellar.
Section.
So there's just enough here to age and mature the beer.
Hagen, thank you, sir. Appreciate the tour.
Thank you guys for coming.
And thank you for pouring.
Wouldn't miss it.
Hold on. I'm not quite sure. Hold on, not yet.
Is it like you remembered?
See, that's what I love about that. It's just so smooth at the end of it. It's always like at the end. Beer for me is always like, what does it do at the end? Mm-hmm. And this one, every single time it just says, just you're at home, you relax, no pressure.
So I gotta ask, what made you choose to bring traditional European brewing methods to Chicago when modern technique might be easier?
That is a great question. That is a great question. So Dovetail was founded by my business partner, Bill Wesselink, and me. We're both certified master brewers. And we actually met in beer school.
Beer school?
Beer, it's a real thing. It's the best.
Sign me up.
Best school ever. When Bill and I met, one of our first conversations was about having something called a coolship in a brewery.
Okay.
And we were each the only other person that person had met who thought that was a good idea. Anybody else would think that's crazy. We are both certified master brewers, and we both had a list of breweries that really were our favorites. What we learned about those breweries was that they were using very traditional methods to produce their beer.
Okay.
And the farther we went through beer school, the more that we learned that there was something to those methods that brought the quality of the beer to a higher level.
Process.
So from the appearance, from the foam, of being able to see a line of lacing at every sip, from having a great aroma, from just looking looking good in the glass.
Yes.
The great aroma, then a great flavor and a really nice aftertaste. Cheers.
So tell us what we have here, Hagen. What do we
All
have?
right, we call this Rauchbier. Rauchbier. So, Rauchbier. So Rauch in German means smoke, and Bier means beer. So So 200 years ago, every beer tasted like smoke, and that's because when you made the malt was dried or kilned over open flame, and it was dried with wood. In the case of this malt, this is malt that's dried with beach wood. So very bacony. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
okay.
yes.
I'm not imagining it. Okay.
Right, or like a nice German German ham, Westphalian ham. When we make a beer, every little choice that we make, including down to making our own water.
Well,
we
making your own.
We make our own water.
Okay.
Yep, and we make our water, especially for our lager beers, to match the water of a town called Pilsen in Czechia.
Wow.
Which is the home of Pilsner beer. It's very soft water. Chicago has great water for brewing, but for brewing a nice lager, you need a certain
quality,
very specific water. Now that is not a traditional method to make your own water. But
That's unique.
That's kind of a modern method that helps us take we feel take our beer to the next level.
To elevate it.
You know, a lot of breweries for the last 100 years, the beer is brewed by a banker and not by a brewer. The decisions are made by people in finance that drive down quality for the sake of profit.
When we were going through the tour earlier, just walking through your lead brewer and everyone who was in this place, you can see they were moving not just because they were, I have a job, I'm moving. They were moving with purpose.
Yes.
And passion.
I appreciate that.
That's contagious. And I think it's a tribute to what you and Bill have really established here. It's that deep-rooted passion and purpose.
I appreciate that. I mean, that's for sure. We're passionate about it. We're just lucky. We're so fortunate to have the team that we have, and everybody here is just a pro. When we sell our beer, we don't talk too much about the methods that we use. Like when people are interested, like you guys, and like coming in, we are very open about what we do, and we're proud of what we do. But what I want people to do or to get from our beer is when they taste it, I want it to taste like something different. I want them to taste the passion behind it. I want them to taste the expertise, but I just want them to have a good time too.
To your point, the only reason they would care about everything else is because you've made such a great product, right? That triggers such a wonderful experience. Now I'm open to how did they do that?
What is this place?
What is this place? Because what is that? Scratch the surface.
Yeah.
Because when I first had that Vienna Lager,
That was weeks ago. And we're still talking about it.
I love hearing that. I love hearing that because to me, that's the biggest success.
It's like that energy that somebody puts out. Like now you want to get to know them a little further. But that beer, that first taste, that sip, that smoothness, that grabbed you. So then now I care about your open fermentation, your mashing process. Before that, if you want a good-looking beer, a great tasting beer, I wouldn't care about that.
That's true.
Right. The easiest beer to sell is the first beer, but the hardest is the second and the third and the fourth.
Consistency.
You know? And to me, it's success to have people taste what we do and want to come back to it.
When it comes to craft brewery, it's the people that really make it stand out, that speaks to the quality.
Yes.
And you, my friend, are doing that.
Cheers. Cheers.
Hagen, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
bringing us
Thank
here,
you.
for allowing us to have open realm in this space and have some fun here, but more importantly, to really solidify what Dovetail meant, that first experience we had. And it's truly remarkable.
I really appreciate you guys coming by. It's been a ton of fun.
It's been a treat.
So,
I love the field trips.
Cheers.